Welcome to Patty's Aquatics and welcome to my fish room. So today what I got planned is I really want to give you guys a closer, in-depth look at my 29-gallon river tank that I just put up recently that houses my rainbow shiners. I showed you it a little bit in a fish room tour video that would have been out a couple of weeks ago, which I'll put the link above. But I really love this tank. I really want to show you what my ideas about it were and, like I said, how I set it up and everything. And also, if you're not familiar with my channel, I am growing out about 6 rainbow shiner fry. And I have them in a small little 5-gallon tank, and they're close to about an inch now. So I think they're safe to get up in the community of those fish. And I will add them in this video as well, and we can see the entire school of rainbow shiners that I'm going to have in that aquarium. So without further ado, let's get up and take a look at this tank. So this is my 29-gallon version of a river tank that holds my rainbow shiners. Now, ideally, I would love to be able to have this in a longer 4-foot tank, like a 55-gallon or a 75. I just don't have the space or housing for it right now. So since I was redoing a lot of my tanks, my idea really was to do the best version of a river tank in this 29-gallon that I could do. And that's what I did. You know, I wanted to be able to have this type of a drop off. It always was my vision when I wanted to make a river tank, was to have a shallow end that drops off into a deeper end that doesn't have as many plants, but you're still having that flow across the tank. So that's what I did. So really how I set this thing up was simply I put a layer of sand at the bottom first, and then I started on my little low area here, or high area, excuse me. I put one flat rock down, and then I put this big rock on top of it. Now the purpose of it was obviously for the drop off, but I wanted to hold all the substrate on this side. So initially I wanted to put sand in there, but I knew all the sand would work its way down through the crevices. So what I did is I filled this up with pea gravel. I put pea gravel up as high as I could, and then I found littler rocks and put them on the openings on each side of this big rock to kind of fill in the gaps. And then I put sand on top of that. And that sand filled in all those holes and created this basically ledge up top here, which then would allow me to put plants in here. Now, I know they don't look the greatest right now because it's only been a couple weeks and my crypts are doing some melting and I'm having a little bit of an algae bloom and a mini cycle in these tanks. But as you can see, these crypts do have new growth on them. So we are progressing here. It's just going to take a little bit before this tank looks to the point where I want it to, but it's definitely getting there. Now, I also wanted to add a log or logs that would have been laying almost on that drop off and up, and that's what I did here. This log was in my other 29-gallon tank that was next to it. Since I redid that one, I wanted a piece of those logs, and then I put that Anubias on top of there. Again, lots of algae right now, but that's okay. Like I said, I've been kind of going through mini cycles in a lot of these tanks. This one is cleared up tremendously, so it's on the right path. But I really wanted to make this video today because, like I mentioned before, I want to put those rainbow shiner fry in here with these guys because I want that tank open, and I think it's the perfect time. So we'll get to that in a little bit though. But the crypts down here now, I wanted to add a little bit of plant growth on this bottom part that is the deeper end, but I didn't want a bunch of like dwarf sads and stuff like that that is going to continue to grow and to get thick in here, because I want a big open swimming area in here for these guys. That's always the whole purpose of this. I wanted to get it heavily planted up here with the flow coming through, and then keep it more open here. And these crypts will hopefully do that by giving a little bit of cover in the back along the glass, but yet keep this whole section open. Now, this crypt is looking okay. I do have new growth in the middle because, like I said, a lot of my crypts melted by switching them over to these new different types of tanks. The one in the back corner there, I can see as well, I have new growth. This one looks a little more peaked, so I don't know if it's going to survive, but we shall see. But that's the plants in this tank right now. I could add more dwarf sage up here eventually. I think once that starts to take off and propagate, I should be fine though. I don't know if I'll add too much down here really. Like I said, I want to try to keep it open, so we shall see. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why do you have this little tiny rock pile in here? Well, if you remember my last setup for these guys, I had a big rock pile along this whole side of the aquarium. In the wild, these guys like to breed over rock piles, and in captivity as well, they like to breed over rocks. So my idea was, because since I had a big rock pile before, there was really no way to control breeding with them. Well, my idea for this was I put this big flat rock into the sand, and then I temporarily have these smaller rocks on top of it. So almost to train them to know, like, this is where I want you to breed. So that in the future, once I feel like these guys are successfully starting to get into breeding, which I think they're getting there because a lot of the males are really coloring up. You can see the males have all that fluorescent blue colors on them, and then the females don't. So I have a pretty good mix of male and female in here. I get pretty lucky when it came to that. But anyway, back to this. The idea was I can remove those rocks, and then I can put a little container down on that flat rock and put rocks on top of it and put mesh on it, so that when they breed on it, the eggs will fall into that container, and then I can pull it out of the aquarium and I can breed them in this aquarium then. I have tried to breed them outside of this aquarium before, and that's where I lost a lot of my rainbow shiners. I made a mistake and I put them in too small of an aquarium with too much flow, and believe it, tuckered them out and wound up killing about 4 of them. And that's why my numbers were so low, and I wound up getting more of these guys. So that's the plan for trying to breed these guys, is using that little rock pile as that breeding ground and breeding them within this aquarium, so I don't got to keep trying to pull them out of here. And that's the goal there. Now, obviously, filtration. I do have a sponge filter in here as well with the aquarium co-op with that easy flow on top, so it's giving a little bit of flow at the surface, but it's mainly coming from these 2 wave makers that I have. So what I had been doing, oh, I moved it up just the other day because I did a water change. I like to try to give 2 different levels of water flow up here, one a little higher, one a little lower, but I wanted to keep it so the flow goes across the top, but yet you still have little pockets in here where there's less flow, especially for at night when they try to calm down and sleep. Like when I first turn the lights on, they're usually either huddled down here, back behind here a little bit, or I'll see them down here in the plants underneath the wave maker. So there still are areas for them to get out of there, out of that flow if they need to get out of it. So this is that tank right now. But what do I want to put in there? If we go down here, this is that 5-gallon tank that has those rainbow shiner fry in it. Like I said, they're about an inch long now. One's a little smaller than the others, but I still think they're all big enough not to have to worry about getting eaten by the big guys now. And I want to get them in there. I think they'll grow faster with that community and how much I feed them. So with that being said, let me get them out of here and I'll show you what they look like. All right, here's a sort of closer look under some light at these guys. Like I said, they're not monstrous, but I believe they're big enough where they're not going to get eaten anymore by the big guys in that aquarium. And hopefully they'll be able to grow a little faster in here now with all the other guys competing for food. So let's get these guys into the aquarium. Rainbow shiner fry going in. Tempting to here. And they are in. Where they are right now, I see a couple of them. I have no doubt that within short time, these guys are going to start schooling with the big majority. Even some of them are in there already. That's very cool to see. I want to see them within there. I just hope they don't get picked on or bullied on. If that is the case, I will wind up pulling them back out, but I really think it'll be okay. They definitely are. Well, they're trying to check them out and see which one that one is. The other ones seem to be right in that little group already, which is kind of cool. So, and I absolutely love the colors on these fish. These males, especially when they fire up. My 3 oldest ones were like bright red yesterday. They were ready to breed. My females in here are starting to get a little bit of plump bellies. I don't really see color on them yet, so I don't know if they're really breeding yet, but we shall see. But You can see the color on this guy. Like, that's what I love. I absolutely love it when they start to look like that. And like I said, that's not even full breeding color yet. When you see them with full breeding color, they're like bright red and pink. But I mean, I don't think you can get there. Let me rephrase that. I don't think there are many other freshwater fish that look this awesome in color, in my opinion. And I absolutely love these guys. And I absolutely love this tank. This is one of my favorites down here. And this is one of my favorite fish down here as well. You can't go wrong with them, and I absolutely love them. So I really hope you enjoyed this video and this closer look at my rainbow shiner river tank. It's something I've wanted to do for quite a while, and it was something I couldn't do in a dirty tank. And another reason why this one got taken down, because I really wanted to try this version of a river tank, in my opinion, and really showcase these fish in them more, because they needed more swimming room and more flow. And I think it was going to make it even more natural for these guys, so that maybe one day down the road, I can maybe breed these guys in this aquarium and be successful at it. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And always remember to think outside the box and take a step back into nature. I hope to see you guys next time here at Patty's Aquatics.